Welcome to Mindful Healing, a sanctuary for those yearning not just for rest, but for renewal. If you've landed on this video, chances are your nights have become battlegrounds. You lie awake, heavy-eyed but restless, as your mind replays the past and rehearses the future. You may have tried everything: melatonin, apps, sound machines, warm milk, but nothing truly works. Why? Because the real solution doesn't lie in adding more. It lies in releasing what's already too much. Here on Mindful Healing, we believe sleep is not a luxury. It is a spiritual practice. And tonight, I'm not just giving you another tip. I'm inviting you to shift your entire relationship with rest. We'll draw from ancient Buddhist wisdom, psychological science, and deep, heartfelt storytelling to help you stop chasing sleep and start welcoming it. If your body is tired but your mind won't let go, stay with me. In this journey, you'll learn why that's happening, and more importantly, how to change it, without force, without judgment, and without shame. Take a deep breath. Feel your shoulders soften. Let's begin. Chapter 1: Why We Struggle with Sleep, the Root of Restlessness. In Buddhist philosophy, suffering arises from tanha, craving, clinging, and attachment. While many understand this as clinging to people or possessions, one of the most persistent forms of attachment is often overlooked: our attachment to thought. Our minds replay regrets, conversations, and fears like a broken record. This endless mental chatter keeps the nervous system in a state of vigilance. It's not the darkness or silence that bothers us at night. It's what we carry into the darkness. The Buddha taught that peace is not the absence of problems, but the release of our grasp on them. Imagine your mind as a pool of water. Every worry stirs its surface. Only stillness can reveal clarity. Let me tell you about Margaret, a retired librarian I met during a mindfulness workshop in Northern California. Every night, Margaret's mind would spiral, from her grandchildren's future to climate change. Her insomnia wasn't just about caffeine or poor sleep hygiene. It was rooted in emotional overwhelm. I asked her, "What if you didn't need to solve anything tonight?" She looked at me, startled. That night, she began a ritual, sitting quietly, placing her worries on paper, and whispering, "The world will still be here tomorrow." Within a month, she was sleeping again, not because her life was fixed, but because she released the compulsion to fix it now. Chapter 2: The Subtle Art of Letting Go. There's a Zen teaching I return to often. Before bed, I take off my robe. I do the same with my thoughts. Letting go is not forgetting or denying. It is the conscious decision to stop carrying. We wouldn't drag a suitcase into our bed, yet we haul every emotional burden under the covers. Let me introduce you to Eleanor, a 71-year-old former school principal who suffered from chronic insomnia. She'd lie in bed analyzing every conversation from the day, replaying interactions with her daughter, fearing she had said the wrong thing. Her breakthrough came from a practice I call the tea house of the mind. I told her, "Your mind is a tea house. Thoughts come and go like guests. Some are rowdy, some are kind. You, dear Eleanor, are the host. Choose whom to serve." She started writing her thoughts into a journal, not to dwell, but to externalize. Then she'd close the notebook and say, "Tonight I choose rest." It worked. Sleep came gently because she created a boundary, a door that said, "Not now." Chapter 3: The Breath as a Gateway to Sleep. If there is one companion that never leaves us from birth until death, it is the breath. In Buddhist meditation, the breath is the most accessible, honest teacher we have. It cannot lie, it does not flatter, it reveals exactly where the body is and where the mind wanders. In the Vinaya Pitaka, the ancient Buddhist monastic code, monks are instructed to return to the breath whenever the mind becomes agitated. Why? Because the breath is the bridge. It connects the wandering mind to the grounded body. It connects suffering to stillness. Let me share the story of Haruto, a retired artisan from Kyoto. In his younger years, he carved temples and wooden sculptures with immense focus. But after retirement, the mental stillness he once knew in his hands abandoned him. Thoughts raced at night. He tried teas, soft music, even counting sheep, but nothing worked. So he visited a local Buddhist monk, desperate for help. The monk handed him a warm cup of tea and said, "Drink this." Haruto took a sip. The monk asked, "Did you have to think about drinking?" Haruto replied, No, I just did it. Then breathe like that, said the monk, not as effort, but as presence. That night, Haruto lay in bed and simply followed his breath. No expectations, no goals, just the gentle rise and fall of his belly. For the first time in years, sleep visited him like an old friend. Here's a breathing practice you can try tonight. Close your eyes and place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Feel your belly rise. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Feel your body soften. With each breath, silently say, inhale, I am here. Exhale, I am safe. Repeat for 5 to 10 minutes. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back. No judgment. Why this works? From a physiological perspective, slow, mindful breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, signaling to your body that it is safe. Heart rate slows, blood pressure drops, muscles relax. From a Buddhist view, mindful breathing is not just a relaxation technique, it's a return to nowness. When we are with our breath, we are not in the past or the future. We are in the only moment where sleep can occur. This one, Chapter 4, the Mindfulness Body Scan for Deep Relaxation. One of the most common misconceptions about sleep is that it begins in the mind. But true, restorative sleep begins in the body. If the body remains tense, the mind will echo that tension. Yet if the body softens, truly softens, the mind follows like a leaf carried by a stream. In Buddhist practice, we return again and again to the body because it lives in the present. The mind wanders, judges, reminisces, and forecasts. But the body, it simply is. That is why mindfulness of the body is the foundation of the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha's discourse on the 4 establishments of mindfulness. Let me tell you about Robert, a retired war veteran who once came to me with severe insomnia. He had seen things no man should see, and his nights were haunted by memory. Despite medication and therapy, peace eluded him. During a retreat in Oregon, I introduced him to the body scan. The first few nights, his mind rebelled, but on the 4th night, something shifted. I stopped trying to sleep, he told me. I just listened to my feet. That may sound trivial, but for Robert, whose mind had been stuck in the past, simply feeling his toes, his present toes, was a breakthrough. That night he slept, not because he forced it, but because he re-entered his body. Here's a simplified version of the mindfulness body scan you can try tonight. Lie flat on your back, arms at your sides. Bring awareness to your feet. Feel their weight. Imagine them sinking into warm sand. Move to your calves, then thighs. Let go of tension as you move upward. Feel your abdomen rise and fall with your breath. Let your shoulders drop, arms soften, and hands unclench. Relax your jaw, your eyelids, even your scalp. Finally, imagine a warm wave of light scanning your entire body from head to toe. No need to rush. If your mind drifts, bring it back kindly. Why it works? When the body is acknowledged with loving awareness, it stops crying for attention. It no longer needs to scream through restlessness or pain. As the Buddha said, there is no path to peace. Peace is the path. This practice doesn't push sleep. It creates the path for sleep to arrive on its own. Chapter 5. Sleep as a spiritual practice. Too often in modern life, we treat sleep as a task, something to get over with so we can do more. But in Buddhism, rest is not laziness, it is reverence. It is the reset of the spirit. A Zen proverb reminds us, a bowstring too tight will snap, too loose and it won't shoot. Sleep is the tension's release, the middle path. Even the Buddha, during his long nights of meditation, rested. He never glorified exhaustion. He glorified presence. I once knew a woman named Maria, a retired nurse who had worked night shifts for decades. After retirement, she found herself restless, disconnected from sleep's rhythm. Her body didn't trust night. It expected alarms. One evening, she told me, I don't know how to rest anymore. I invited her to watch the moon rise. Quietly, slowly, I said, do you see it rushing? She smiled. No. Then neither must you. She began to sit for a few minutes each night, under the stars, whispering to herself, I trust my body knows how to rest. With time, her body relearned what her spirit already knew, that sleep is not an obligation, but a returning home. Try this before bed tonight. Repeat a gentle intention like a prayer. I offer my body rest. I surrender this day. I welcome sleep as a gift, not a demand. Let these phrases soften your inner landscape. Let them carry you inward. Chapter 6. Waking up as a mindful act. Sleep is not only how we end the day, it is how we begin the next. In Thai monasteries, monks do not reach for their phones when they wake. They do not check emails or scroll social media. Their first act is a breath, a bow, a whispered verse. I'm alive today. This is a gift. May I live it wisely. What if you adopted this ritual? What if your first breath each morning wasn't hurried but holy? Before you even rise, say to yourself, I am grateful for this body. May my thoughts be kind and my actions compassionate. Today is another chance to begin again. This way, sleep is no longer isolated. It becomes part of a spiritual rhythm. The wave of inhale and exhale, that is our entire life. You've made it here, to the quiet end of our journey together. And maybe for the first time tonight, you're not trying so hard. Maybe you're starting to feel what happens when you just let go. You see, sleep doesn't respond to effort. It responds to invitation. And each breath you've taken during this video has been part of that invitation. You've opened your mind to new stories, ancient teachings, and simple practices that gently remind you, you were never broken. You were just carrying too much. So tonight, as your head sinks into the pillow, remember this. You don't have to solve everything before bed. You don't have to earn rest. You are allowed to simply be. Let go of the myth that says you're failing if you can't sleep. You're not failing, you're learning, you're unlearning, you're remembering how to return to your breath, your body, your being. This isn't just about sleep. This is about trust. Trusting that life will continue even if you pause. Trusting that your body knows what to do. Trusting that rest is not a weakness. It is your birthright. And tomorrow, begin again. Wake not with a groan, but with a whisper. Thank you, I've been given another chance. Sleep well, dear one. May you dream freely. May you rise gently. And may you always walk this life with presence and compassion. Good night. And until next time, breathe easy. Mindful healing.